Well, good morning. Welcome to our Ag Market Network weekly market report. Exports have just come out, and we're going to be going to those right now. They're showing light numbers in cotton. Cotton market numbers are net sales of 10,200 running bales, down 94% from the previous week, down 90% from the 4-week average. And we've got, looking at a breakdown, Vietnam took 8,000. India took 7,300. Pakistan took 4,100. Cancellations from Indonesia of 8,900. Cancellations from China of 5,400. The new crop sales were very large. New crop sales of 364,800. Vietnam took 214,000. China took 48,400. Malaysia took 22,900. And India took 18,400. Shipments of 291,200. So what this really means based on these numbers is the buying is certainly picking up. Some of the buying we considered could happen from China and from Asia certainly is showing up for new crop. So China's buying there. They're not buying on the old crop, which the lifetime of that is quickly about to end. So most is shifted to that. So if you look at the numbers, very strong number. Right off the bat, as I looked at the old crop sales, I thought, well, this is bad. But when you look at the new crop sales, very, very strong. Now, the market looks like it's not really reacting. Matter of fact, we had cotton down 27 just before this report. Now, right now, cotton is down 35. So we're trading at 63.45. Now let's go to soybeans. Net sales of 143,100 metric tons. Japan took 67,800. China took 66,800. We've got Mexico taking 61,800. Some cancellations. New crop sales of 305,500 metric tons. Unknown destinations took 112,000 metric tons. China took 68,000 metric tons. So I think we are, based on what we're hearing, going to see this start picking up with China. But this reflects the previous week, and it's not showing up here. Probably will start showing up hopefully next week or the week after, but it does look like that'll happen. But we're dealing with what we deal with right now. The soybean market was down 2 just before the report. Now it's down 1.5. So down 1. So we firmed up a small amount off of that. Let's go to corn. Net sales of 143,100. That's up 18% from the previous week, down 43% from the 4-week average. Mexico took 145,000 metric tons. Japan took 74,800 metric tons. Taiwan took 15,900 metric tons. Cancellations, unknown destinations, canceled 79,500. And there were various other cancellations. New crop sales of 129,600 metric tons. So this number was not a particularly strong one. Let's see how the market reacted. The corn market was up 1.5 pennies before the report. Right now it's up a penny, so slightly lower. Wheat, net sales of 383,100 metric tons, down 42% from the previous week, 2% under the 4-week average. Brazil took 85,000 metric tons. Philippines took 71,900 metric tons of wheat. Japan took 51,300 metric tons of wheat. And we do have some cancellations on that. I see unknown destinations cancel 50,100 metric tons. What else? I'm looking at one thing I skipped. I'm looking back for new crop sales for corn. 129,600 metric tons. New crop sales of corn, that's not so good either. What's the reaction in wheat? Wheat market was down 2 before the report. Right now it's still down. Well, it's down about 2.5. So that's what we've got in these numbers. You'd have to see kind of a mixed bag. Good in cotton if you'll look down the page at new crop. So what have we seen in this market lately? Well, let's just look at what the range is the last 3 weeks. December cotton got as high as 64.67 and as low as 61.66, so a 300-point range, and it feels like the market's sort of comfortable in that range right now, although there is still a chance, if something happens with good demand perhaps, some big sales, we might be able to see cotton firm up enough to start creating some short covering in the cotton market. There is still, based on commitment of traders, the speculators are still at record high levels. There was no short covering over the last week or so. So that's still something that hangs over the market. The December cotton is extremely oversold. The stochastic reading is single digit, very, very low. And all that really means is this market has gotten to the point where historically, when you see these kind of technical indicators this oversold, we can certainly have a bounce. And so what else have we got? Next, soybeans. November soybeans have seen a high of 936.5 and a low of 878.5, and right now November soybeans are at 880.5. So that low, I think, was actually made overnight in beans. December corn has seen a high of 468 over the last few weeks and a low of 409.5, a very big range for corn, about as big, if not bigger than soybeans, which is very unusual. Right now, the corn market in December is trading at 411.5, so we're not far, just a couple of cents from that low, and that's a long-term low. September wheat has seen a high of 531.5, a low of 506. Right now, September wheat's at 484. Hold on just a second. Right now, the September wheat's at 484 3/4, and I mentioned that actual low in September wheat, and I wrote this down incorrectly. The low we've seen was about a week ago when we got down to 483 1/4. So we're very close to those long-term lows. So look, looks bad on the charts. We've had big sell-offs. Markets are very oversold. We've got a crop report coming out, I think, on the 12th of this month. And that brings to mind the next thing, which is, well, what's going on? Well, in grains, we've seen a combination of improving weather during the key pollination stage, although the crop is weeks late. You've got low demand. We're not seeing big numbers yet. That could be changing. And then we've had speculative selling. Some of the speculators that were long those markets have been exiting the markets, and that's put some pressure on the market. What are the possible positives for grains? Well, first, it's a late crop, and that always raises the possibility of problems later. Getting the crop out, doesn't matter how big it is. If you can't really get it out till late, it's going to affect your yield. We could also be seeing, when the crop report comes out this month in August, there's a thought that we might see acreage adjustments, since the numbers that we've seen going back to the acreage report have been numbers that have been challenged as being too high for corn especially. And there's thought that this next report might reflect an adjustment there, and that would be positive. And another thing is, just coming out yesterday, this administration, in just finishing negotiations with China, one thing they had a press release saying China had agreed to start buying agricultural exports from us. So we've heard that before, and the market, for the most part, totally ignored it. Doesn't care to hear it anymore. You're going to have to see it. You're going to see it right here before the markets really believe it. So you got a lot of things happening. Markets are very oversold, especially in grains. Cotton seems to be stuck in a sideways range, although there are heavy short positions that are vulnerable to market maybe rallying. So you got a lot of things going on, but the markets right now, as we've had a few minutes to adjust to this export sales report, you've got soybeans have rallied to where they've rallied about a penny or so since the report. Corn has actually dipped about a half cent, and wheat is unchanged on the day. Cotton market is exactly where it was before the report. So not a lot of reaction. That's it. Thanks for being with us for this edition of our weekly Ag Market Network market report, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you.